What's up, y'all? Yeah, I'm wearing a cool jacket today. I actually just got back from just running out to get a little bit of food. I didn't really feel like cooking today, so I went and got El Pollo Loco. If you've ever been out west, you know what that place is. It's pretty good. But I got me a chicken bowl. So, off work today, Sunday, and I didn't even do my hair today. I don't care. What are we going to talk about today? Well, a little bit of a heavy topic because I was reminded of it. I got a text from one of the guys that I served with in Afghanistan, and he's just checking up, asking how I was doing, everything, because he was headed to a soldier's funeral, and he was checking up on all his friends, basically. So that right there tells me that this soldier probably took his own life, or her. And multiple people from the unit that I served with in Afghanistan have done this. Just last year, I think it was, a guy named Staff Sergeant, or he might have been Sergeant First Class by this time. I won't give his name. But this was like a really happy guy. Like, it's just a happy guy. You see my cow look back there? But he took his own life. And that was the case with multiple other soldiers that we were in Afghanistan with. We didn't lose anybody there. We lost nobody in Afghanistan. But since then, we've lost multiple to suicide. So I got that text this morning, and this has been a video that's kind of been on my list for a little bit. So I'll talk about it. I had a video a while back where I talked about when I was married and couldn't find a good job, I was broke all the time, and just slipped into a deep depression, and that ended up with me being what they call passively suicidal. Oh, there's my microphone. So it's like you wouldn't take your own life, but you don't care if you die. So that was me. That's where I was at in life, and I knew I needed to make a change, so I did. Ended up separating and got divorced, and then moved up to Pennsylvania for a couple of years, and then I moved out here to Utah, where I really wanted to go. It is snowing like hell on the mountains out there. It's probably going to snow here. Here's part of why I moved to Utah. Let me just walk out here real quick because I want y'all to see this. Oh, I locked the door. I need y'all to see these mountains. You see this? Right on my window, man. That makes me happy. You have to find things that make you happy. Did y'all hear that dude peeling out? You can't really see the mountains that well today. But, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Finding things that make you happy to avoid depression. Because depression is where it starts. It's where it always starts. But why do men kill themselves at 4 times the rate that women do? 4 times. 4 times as likely to die from suicide than women. That's insane. And just this morning, when I woke up, which is something I shouldn't do as soon as I wake up, as I doom scroll a little bit. So I'm on Facebook, and one of my friends from back in the film industry, who is extremely liberal. I still have liberal friends. She was extremely liberal. She is also lesbian, which no shade there, none. No shade there at all. But my problem with her in recent years has been how she will post things that are basically an attack on men's mental health and blaming them for the men's mental health crisis, and blaming men for the male loneliness epidemic. And I don't remember what exactly this one said, but it was something like, if men wouldn't be lonely if they didn't shoehorn intimacy into such a small box. She basically was saying if men weren't straight, then if men were like pansexual or bisexual, then they would have more opportunities to be with someone. That's a completely fucking stupid take. And I started to just kind of ream her a little bit, but I just unfriend. Okay, I'm done with that. You're not gonna fucking post stuff like that. and have me as a friend. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing online these fucking feminists basically just shitting all over men and blaming them for their depression and their loneliness issues. It's not men's fucking fault. It's society's fault. Okay? Now, some men might do things that, run them into a life of loneliness. They might make choices where they end up alone and lonely. I'm single. I'm not lonely or depressed though, because I worked on that. I made sure that I steered myself into a life where I wouldn't have to deal with that. And if I do start dealing with it, I talk to somebody. But basically, why men have become so shut off from the world. And I see the reasons online all the fucking time. All the time. Is if a man even says that something's wrong in his life, if a man says he's having a problem, he gets laughed at. He gets laughed at. And it's usually by women. Other men might laugh at him. But most of the time you'll see men that are, just basically giving words of encouragement. But women will jump down that guy's throat and blame him. If a man says that he had relationship problems, automatically it's assumed it was the man that was the problem. You've seen that on this channel before, where I've talked about past relationships that I had. The women, the feminists that would comment, automatically would try to blame me and would try to say that I was not admitting my guilt. And I'm like, sometimes you just didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes you're just with somebody that's a piece of shit, and that piece of shit's a woman. That's just how it is. Men are not the only ones that are capable of being bad at relationships. And people need to learn this. But also, we need to stop blaming men or putting men down for the problem that we have, which is male suicide, male loneliness, depression. Depression in men often goes undiagnosed, because when a man is depressed because of testosterone in his system, or maybe he's just repressed emotions, or not, doesn't know how to talk about things. Because men, when we're growing up, we're not taught to talk about things and express emotions and how we're feeling. A lot of the time we don't even know if we're depressed. I didn't know I was depressed when I got diagnosed with it. But that's why it goes undiagnosed, because it often comes out as anger or irritability or frustration. And suddenly, the men are emotional. They're angry. Fuck you. Fuck you. I hate seeing that online. That legitimately pisses me off. When women try to say, the men are emotional. Like, these emotional men that you're talking about are men that have been trying to get their stories heard, or they're trying to express their feelings, and they get shut down automatically. We've all seen that video of the guy with the wire in his hands when he's outside and his wife walks out and she says, "What are you doing?" And he's looking at the spool of wire, and it's basically almost gone. And he's like, "I bought this spool of wire 40 years ago. 40 years ago, and now it's almost gone." And he's talking about, he's seeing in real time his mortality. He's watched 40 years go by in that spool of wire. And it's almost gone. And he's thinking about his life being almost gone. This is an older guy. And his wife doesn't even think about that. She just makes a joke and shuts it down and basically belittles it. And right then, you see in the video, automatic shutdown. He's like, that man will never open up to her ever again. And he probably shouldn't, because she's just shown that she doesn't give a shit. And that's the case with a lot of men in relationships, is the women that they're with don't give a shit. The women want to be catered to emotionally. They want the men to be emotionally available for them. But when men need that, nobody's anywhere to be found. Nobody. Nowhere. So men are left alone because they're men. Chris Rock also said that men are not loved unconditionally. Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Men are only loved under the condition that they provide something. So men have been forced. I mean, we do it to ourselves a lot of time, but men have to be the providers. Men have to always be productive. Men always have to provide. It's always a tit for tat with us. We're never given anything. We have to fight for everything. Most men. Some men don't have to do that. You're born with fucking millions of dollars. You probably didn't have to fight for anything in your entire life. But generally, men are the soldiers. Men are the hard workers, the laborers. Men are the rock of the family. Men have to be that emotional rock and not be emotional. Because if everybody's losing their fucking minds in a crisis, then we're all dead. Men have to be the ones to hunker down, whatever you want to say, and be that stoic figure that is cool, calm, and collected. And that can wear you out too. It's worn me out before. Jack and Coke. I don't think I even took a sip of this yet. But those are just some of the issues that cause men to just get burnt out and tired of life. I've even seen a couple of you guys comment on my channel saying you're tired of things and it's not working. And I'm always like, hey, just keep on keeping on. I've been where you are. I've been in that fucking dumpster. It sucks. Not literally. I've never been homeless and digging in a dumpster. But mentally, a mental dumpster. That's what it is. I've been in that motherfucker and it sucks. But here I am a few years later. I'm as happy as I could be. And I'm not with anyone. And it's not because I'm not with anyone that I'm happy. I want to be with a woman. I want to have a partner. But I've stopped allowing people in my life that either disrespect me or I feel like are using me or taking advantage of me. And that's another thing. I think that's what I was trying to get at with the whole provider thing, is a lot of men are getting taken advantage of. They're just used for their money. A lot of men are just used for their dick. It's like, and you don't even realize it until you're out of that situation. You don't realize that you were being taken for granted, that you were being taken advantage of. Society props women up on a pedestal these days. Just give them respect, give them everything. A woman could put the last shingle on a house and she would be celebrated. But nobody cares about the dozen or so men that built the house. See what I'm getting at? That's a metaphor. And I'm not meaning that to like shit on women or at all or anything like that. I'm not talking to feminists right now. I'm not talking to women. It's just, when I'm online, I'll see a lot of people, it's just celebrations of women everywhere. Women. Now, one cool one here, I will talk about this one because this is pretty fucking cool. Japan's new prime minister is a woman, and she's the first female Japanese prime minister. She was a heavy metal drummer and drives a badass 90s Supra. Just fucking cool. That's cool. Okay, that's a woman I would celebrate. That's just cool. But being the first, Japanese female prime minister, that's a big deal, But no one ever celebrated the other people that came before her. At least I don't even know who they were. I don't know who they were. It's just, I guess it's a monumentous occasion, right? If the United States would have gotten Kamala, we would have been celebrating that. Except she was the most incompetent possible person that we could have put in office. And I mean this even over Trump. I don't think Trump was qualified at all when he first became president. But by the time he ran again, he had been president. He was literally more qualified than Kamala. And I don't care if people hate it when I say that. That's a fact, Jack. But yeah, so all of those things are why we have a male loneliness epidemic. Men are shunned by society. We're just beaten down. We're used. And ultimately just thrown away when nobody needs us anymore. That's what it's like to be a man. That is being a man, is having to deal with all that shit and nobody giving a fuck about you and still having to keep on going. That's just strength incarnate, man. You got to be strong. You have to be strong when you don't want to be strong. But why do men also, it's not just that is leading to the male suicide rate being 4 times higher than women. It's because men use more lethal means of suicide. Guns. Men will often drive their cars off cliffs, into trees, into other drivers. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how we fix this other than demanding that society fucking respect us again. But how do we do that? When you've got all these piece of shit, bitter, hateful, misandrous feminists running around, or social media and legacy media, teachers in college are all feminizing men, which I've talked about before. Feminization of men wreaks havoc on the male mind. And you're being told now, like my friend this morning that I took out of my friends list, you're being told now that if you're just a straight man, that's why you're so lonely. That just doesn't make sense to me, because being straight is just a biological fact. You know, you might not be, I don't think anybody chooses to be gay. You just are. But for years, I've seen this rhetoric that straight men are just wrong. Like we're not supposed to be straight. But straight men aren't the only ones killing themselves. Gay men kill themselves. Trans men kill themselves. They aren't real men. Trans man was a woman. Trans woman was a man. So it gets a little dicey there. But they kill themselves too. And it's all from depression. And what do you do when you go to a therapist? The therapist says, oh, you're depressed. If they tell you you're depressed. And then they give you 5 different subscriptions of SSRIs. And what's one of the main side effects of SSRIs? Depression. You're going to give me some medicine for depression that makes me depressed. That's dumb. That's dumb. That's what happened to me when I first got my depression and anxiety diagnosis. This was over a decade ago. I was given SSRIs and I tried them for about a month. And I I did not feel good. I was not happy. It was the worst thing in the world. I felt worse than I did before. So I stopped taking them. And, you know, I was married at the time and she kind of chastised me for it. She's like, you're supposed to be taking that. I'm like, I'm not taking that. And I didn't realize I was unhappy because the relationship I was in sucked. It sucked. I was broke and poor and fucking tired, burnt out, and being taken advantage of. And she wasn't even doing that on purpose. That's just, I don't know. She got comfortable, I guess, with me providing everything. But I don't know. And it also comes down to substance abuse. Yes, I drink. I used to drink too much. There were times where I would drink entire 6-packs of high gravity beer or half a bottle of Jack Daniels in one night. And I know a lot of people drink a lot more than that. I wasn't in a point of being an alcoholic, but I was like, hey, this is too much. This is too much. Now I'll have like, if it's 5 drinks in a week, it's 1 drink per day. And I'm not limiting myself. I just don't care to drink a lot anymore. Because I feel better when I don't drink. So I was talking about that. It was like, if you should stop drinking. If you're drinking heavily, especially. Doing drugs, you know, that shit's a crutch, man. It's a crutch. It does not make you feel better. It makes you feel better in the moment. But I've seen somebody say something. It was like stealing happiness from tomorrow for today. Is drugs and alcohol will kill you. It'll kill you. It slowly kills you. Smoking, nicotine addiction, you motherfuckers that vape, that's killing you. It is literally killing you. That's a slow suicide. You're killing yourself there. But yeah, alcohol is my only vice. I'm not going to tell anybody not to have a vice. You got to be human. Sometimes you just got to do something that probably isn't the healthiest thing in the world, but it's just something that you do, you know? Don't overindulge. And my last video, I'm closing out now. My last video was about having hobbies. I talked about the hobbies I have. I talked about other hobbies you could have. And there were guys in those comments giving excuses, saying that the hobbies are unaffordable. No, they're not. Most of what I went over in that video is either cheap or free. Cheap or free. Guitars can be very expensive, but I actually just sold the most expensive guitar I had. It was the blue one that was on the wall in past videos. That was about a $650 guitar. I've had $1,000 guitars. I probably will be getting a fairly expensive guitar here soon. But that's a kind of guitar. It's just, I'm not going to talk about the guitar too much, but it's got everything I want. It's like the ultimate metal guitar, basically. But what I'm getting at is those 2 guitars right there, actually all three of those guitars I got rid of the most expensive guitar I had because I play those more. That's a classical guitar. That one's like a James Hetfield tribute guitar, basically. So it sounds like it'd be expensive, right? And that's just a bluesy, jazzy, semi-acoustic or semi-hollow. That's what semi-hollow. Those are $200 guitars, man. All three of them. All three of them, $200. And the one I play the most is in the middle. That one was $200. I think the others are like $250. But yeah, the one in the middle, $200. You spend a random $200 every month. Most people do, and you don't even realize. You probably spend $200 on fucking subscriptions to Netflix and shit. And you're telling me that you can't afford a guitar that's cheap. Get on Amazon, buy a Firefly. Firefly guitars. They're cheap. Harley Benton guitars. They are cheap. I want a Harley Benton. They're cheap. They're cheap guitars, man. There's every hobby can be done cheaply. Even gaming. You know, PS5 is expensive. Yeah. But did you know that even on your cell phone, if you buy an Xbox controller, you can pay for Game Pass, which is like $20-something a month. You can pay for Game Pass if you have an Xbox controller, and you can play Game Pass games on your phone. Yeah, you can do that. Gaming's cheap. You just have to know how to look for it. Everything can be expensive, but almost everything can also be cheap if you know how to do it. So find a hobby. If you have no hobbies, you're on a fast track to becoming depressed. And once you become depressed, you're on a fast track to taking your own life eventually. That's it for today. I'm going to watch, I'll have to plug my other YouTube channel if you made it to the end. My other YouTube channel, not my trucking one, I have a film-based one that I've had for longer than all the other ones. I finally just posted a new video on there about Demolition Man, the movie. So I'm starting a new series on there. So I'm going to try to link that channel down here so that y'all can go to that one, maybe subscribe. I got to build it back up to get it monetized again because I didn't post for 5 years. But yeah, that's a cool channel. There's a lot of stuff on there that's pretty cool from my filmmaking days, and also it's just movie stuff if you like movies. But I'm going to watch The Rock. You ever seen The Rock? Not the If You Smell, not that Rock. The movie The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery, where it's basically a stealth James Bond sequel. Yeah, I'm about to watch that because that's what my next movie video is going to be about. Y'all have a good one.